Independent Referendum Oversight Committee, IROC, boardroom, 9 a.m. I want to welcome everybody, and I'll start back here and come around, please.
All right, Sandra Greenberg. I represent West Boynton. I represent Cobra.
Sherry Brown from the Budget Advisory Committee.
George Elmore, Advisory Committee member.
Paul Dumars, Chairman. I'm also a member of the School Board's Finance Committee.
Heather Knust, I'm the staff liaison.
Mike Burke, I'm CFO.
Maria Antuna with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and also an advisory committee member.
Blair Littlejohn from the Office of General Counsel.
Okay, welcome to everyone. Do we have any public comment?
You got one guest back here.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have a guest?
No public comments.
Okay, then we will move for the approval of the minutes, October 29th, 2020.
So move.
Second.
Been properly moved in second for the minutes, approving the minutes, October 29th, 2020. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, moving on to new business. Heather, will you take over?
I will. So since we did not have a quorum at our last meeting, we have two reports to approve today. So the first report is for the second quarter, ended December 31st, 2020. At that time, we had collected $181 million from the tax levy. We were projected to collect a total of 213 by the end of the fiscal year. We were on track with our spending, with our teacher supplements, the fine arts teachers, as well as mental health and security, to fund the full $213 million. The total expenses to date through December 31st were $88.7 million, but then, projected to have the full $200 million by June 30th. So there were over almost 13,000 teacher supplements that were paid, and it continues to fund nearly 800 fine arts teachers, including, and then also an additional almost 250 mental health professionals, in addition to security, police officers, and school monitors at the school sites. Are there any questions on the second quarterly report for December 31st? And Ms. Brill has just joined online through Google Meets.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
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 So are there any questions on the second quarterly report?
Want a motion to approve?
Yeah.
You got it.
Second.
All
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I thought we were just going to go through and approve them all, but if not,
I don't know.
No, I did do them as two separate agenda items for each of the reports. So we would do this one, the second quarterly report first, and then with the approval, and then I'll move on to the third quarterly
okay.
report.
So it's been properly moved in second to approve revenue received and expenditures for the December 31st. Do we have any? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, so next we have the third quarterly report for the period ended March 31st. So through March 31st, we collected a total of $206.9 million, so we're very close to that $213 million. You can see that the teacher supplements and staffing remained very consistent with the second quarterly report. So we had total expenses to date of, through March 31st, of $156.2 million, and we're projected to spend the full $213 million by the end of the fiscal year. It is a little close this year, but we will continue to monitor the expenses, and if there are any additional allowable expenses that are identified that we may be able to include within the referendum, for example, within the co-located services, it is possible that we'll have some additional expenses related to those co-located services. So are there any questions related to the third quarterly report for the period ended March 31st?
Heather, one quick question.
Yeah.
On the ad valorem tax, they can't get involved in this from the charter schools, can they?
No, at the county level?
Yeah.
Or you mean as a share of this money?
The share of this money?
So
I
that,
mean, It's not in the lawsuit at all, is it?
this is the money that is the,
This is it.
this
This
is
is
the
in the
money.
lawsuit?
Yeah, this is the money for the lawsuit. And so Mr. Littlejohn is going to give an update after this report. But that was what recently, the case that we lost through the Fourth District Court of Appeal on that en banc review, the district did lose. We did request an appeal. That was denied. So the board is going to appeal to the Florida Supreme Court. But I know Mr. Littlejohn can give much better explanation. But what our plan is and what was recommended by legal is that we're going to have to set aside the charter school share of this money starting next fiscal year, and until we wait and see what the outcome is of the case, of whether the Supreme Court is going to hear it, and then what the ultimate outcome is going to be.
I thought this was the quarter mill.
This is, yeah, so this was increased from the quarter mill to the 1 mill, and this is the one that the charter schools were suing over, was this specific funding,
Not the sales tax one?
not the sales tax.
Okay, I had them reversed, I'm sorry.
Yep.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the March 31st revenue and expenditure report.
No.
Second.
Move.
Second. It's been properly moved in second that we would approve this March 31st report. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so update on the charter school lawsuit.
Okay, yes, Mr. Littlejohn, if you could provide an update, it would be much appreciated.
Sure. So the charter school lawsuit, we just got a ruling last week where the fourth DCA refused to reconsider their en banc decision, the decision of the entire fourth DCA, which ruled in favor of the charter schools and remanded the case to the circuit court to make certain decisions about how the money would be split, whether it would be retroactive, all of those kind of issues. The fourth DCA also did, in their decision, certify the question to the Supreme Court as a question of great public importance, which gives us a ability to appeal to the Florida Supreme Court. So the school board is going to have a attorney-client session next week and discuss where they want to go from here. I anticipate that they will instruct us to file that appeal with the Florida Supreme Court, and we will take the case there and see if we can get the original circuit court judge's case or his ruling, which was originally approved by the three-panel judge on the fourth DCA, have them reinstate that holding, which is that we were fully within our rights to exclude the charter schools from the benefits of this millage referendum at the time that we did it. That the law was not that we were obligated to share it. So we'll take the direction of the board next week and then move forward from there.
And just to provide a little more background, the charter school share of this funding for next year would be approximately $25 million. And in looking at the breakout of the funding, the largest chunk of the largest portion of the funding is the teacher supplements, and that's more than 50% of the amount of the referendum. And then, $60 million is related to, nearly 800 fine arts teachers. And then the other 25%, or a little less than that, was related to the mental health and school security. So, Mr. Burke, did you want to?
Yeah, I just, so with the, so now, I mean, this has been a pretty crazy ride. You know, we won the first case in the circuit court. We won the original appeal. And then there was this kind of unusual en banc review where the dissenting judge in the original appeal petitioned the entire court to rehear the case. So they went from three judges to 12 judges, and then we lost on a 7-4 ruling. And the one missing judge was the one that petitioned for it to be reheard. It turned out, I guess there was some type of conflict within his family. So this is kind of a really unwelcome surprise. What's been explained to me by the Office of General Counsel is now that the appellate court has reversed their decision, we cannot ignore this going forward. We have to set the potential charter school share of money aside in case we don't prevail at the Supreme Court level. So now building next year's budget, we have to rebuild the referendum budget with $25 million less. And we did prepare for this with our teachers. You know, the big thing was the teacher supplements, where we're doing, $10,000 supplements for those teachers with 10 years or more of experience. That MOU with CTA did include language that if there was any type of unexpected event or downturn in the economy or legal action, that we could revisit that agreement. So we have not sat down yet at the bargaining table, but we're gonna have to have that conversation, and it's gonna be tough. And then all that you can see, we're spending all these monies just like we told the voters we would. Our ballot language was explicit on how we'd spend the money. It was also explicit that it would not be going to charter schools. And that's what's so frustrating with the court's ruling, because they've really kind of ignored the will of the voters here. But this is going to be difficult because we're spending all this money, so now we've got to retract. It could impact our teachers, and we're going to be working through that, as we kind of develop the budget for next year.
And then if we are required at some point to distribute this money to the charter schools, this committee will be utilized in order to review, possibly plans from the charter schools, each of the charter schools, as to how they plan to spend the money, so that the committee can ensure that they're spending it in accordance with the language that's outlined in the referendum. And then they'd be required to report, quarterly as well. So they would have to submit reports to my department, and then that would be included within the report. So it wouldn't just be the district expenditures you would be reviewing, but also the nearly 50 charter schools we have as well.
The other big piece too will be, like Mr. Littlejohn said, we do not know at this point if it's on a go-forward basis or if we have to go back. We're halfway through this program. It was, the voters, the longest you can get the voter approval for is 4 years. So we've basically spent the money for the first 2 years. If we have to go backwards, it's potentially $45 million. And so we'd have to, put a great strain on the district's budget. So we'll keep, we won this case twice. Hopefully the Supreme Court will see it the way the original judges did. But just quite honestly, charter schools is a very partisan issue. And we've had 20 years of governors that are very supportive of charter schools, and they've appointed a lot of judges. So I'm not overly optimistic. I think we need to prepare for the worst.
Weren't the charter schools basically saying some of this was used for safety, and that's for the public schools? And there's none of this involved in safety, is there?
Yeah, there
Yes.
is a portion of it.
I thought it was all on the art side.
It's teacher supplements is 120 million of it. The fine arts teachers are 57 million of it, a quarter of it. And then security and mental health combined is about a quarter of it. And so there's about, it is funding some $15 million worth of additional school police officers, as well as some school monitors. Those are school safety monitors at the school sites, as well as police aides. So it is going to some security, but the majority of it is for the fine arts and the
Fine
teacher
arts, yeah.
supplements.
Okay, with that, do we have any other comments or questions about this? Okay, with that, then we'll look, the next meeting will be August 27th, 2021 at 9 a.m. With that, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all.